So I'm officially halfway through my Saw marathon. The time now is currently almost 5 o'clock. Um, I just finished watching Saw 3 and I'm now on to Saw 4, probably my favorite entry in this franchise. Um, and I just want to make a quick video on my reasons for why I love Saw, because I've already done a review on all 9 movies, from the first Saw all the way to Spiral. Those reviews are on my channel. There's a playlist created. If you haven't seen my reviews, go check them out. I try to link as much of this timeline as possible to each other, because yeah, that's just reason one for why I love this franchise as much as I do, is the timeline. Like the amount of time the creators and the directors and the writers had to create each of these movies. Like there's 7 of these movies, in every single year they were just busting out one movie after the other, filming one movie, going into pre-production on the next movie, filming it, then starting pre-production on the third movie. And yeah, they were just busting these Saw movies out year after year after year after year. And the way these movies interconnect, and it goes back even before the first movie, and it shows it shows that Hoffman and Amanda was working on on the bathroom setup in the first movie, and that and that Amanda's trap takes place before all of that. And then we see, and then in Saw what is it, in Saw 2, in Saw 2, we go back even further, before the first movie, and we see why John is doing what he's doing, and why he's kind of sharing, and why he's sharing his life experience with others at what he learnt from his own experience, and he's kind of showing that to others who have gone through who have gone through who have gone through similar experiences of loss and tragedy. And I think, yeah, just like that's what I love about these movies. Honestly, is it's just how well the story connects, and how it's jumping all around the place. But there's a lot of imagination also in this franchise. There's a lot of stuff in this series that, while there are a lot of answers that are given to you in this franchise. There's also a few questions, especially in the first 2 movies that I picked up today, watching the first two, that are unanswered. And it just like it like and it like it just it gets you it gets you thinking. And I think that's what horror is. I think horror, it's lost that imagination, which I think the first movie did incredible. Like it's a great psychological horror thriller. Like it's a small budget, it's a small budget by 2 guys, James Wan and Lee Wanell. And it's just like, and before the first movie, like they made like a 9 minute short film on it, and the reverse bear trap is shown in that, and then that's, yeah. But yeah, like that's just like why I love this franchise, is it uses imagination, and it's not afraid to take risk. Like I think that's a big reason for why I like this trilogy. As far as consistency, and like all of the twists in these movies, I would say do make sense, at least in the first few, and even in some of the future installments that I'm about to watch, like in Saw 2. Like how like the game that was being played in front of them was, it like the twist was that it was pre-recorded. um and the thing I noticed upon this viewing is the color palette and the color scheme between present day and when the game was taking place. Um, and the it's like in present day, it has this very green color, as does a lot of the sequels. When they're showcasing the traps, it has a very green filter, a green like filter color over it, um, and then when they're playing the game, it's more natural color. It's just like it shows that difference. It shows that difference of time, of that like of that this game that we are seeing. It took place at a different time to present day. Because like I've seen all these movies like multiple times, so kind of going to these movies, I know what the twists are, so I can look at them through a different lens now. And so I think looking at Saw 2, knowing that the game that we are seeing is pre-recorded, it made me notice the color scheme. Like the color scheme stood out so much more to me this time around. The second reason why I love this franchise um, there are actors. There are actors who come back just to play dead bodies, like that they serve no other purpose besides just laying there playing dead. And it's the exact same actor who was in the previous movie or two movies prior. And just like that is like to me that is dedication. That is commitment. Um, like just to play the bodies like okay, here's the thing, like for those types of scenes, like the director could have got anybody to play a dead body. I mean, anybody can can film a dead body and make it look convincing. Like anybody can do that. Anybody can do that. So, but for the actual actor to come back and to kind of like to reprise his role as a dead body, like he has no lines of dialogue, like that's what makes this franchise just like so good is all of the actors, like the actors are dedicated